Okay. I really hope that didn't just do a big bloop, and that it actually paused. Um, so we have Sybil. She's maybe 10, maybe 9 or 10. They weren't sure when she was given us, but we named her Sybil because she's crazy. You know, like the multiple personality movie. She's crazy. Um, but she's really good with the girls, and she's a very sweet cat when she's not crazy. And we have Timmy. He's 15 now. He's barely getting around anymore. He's near the end of life, but he's a sweet cat. Hobbies besides stitching, I'm a big scrapbooker. I actually, when I wasn't stitching, I stopped stitching after Abby was born, or right, well, really when she was born. I had no idea how little time I'd have with an infant, and then picked it back up a little over a year ago. So I've been scrapbooking in the meantime. I actually have a scrapbook room. I used to be a consultant for Close to My Heart scrapbooks. Um, I love to scrapbook. I take pictures of these girls all the time, and I scrapbook. I have over 30 scrapbooks right now, and I didn't start scrapbooking until '98 when I went to England um, for the first time. So hope the girls like the albums, because when I die, they can do what they want with them. But they're 5 and 3, and I have 30 albums, so can't wait to see what we got by the time they're 20. I also read a lot, and I can crochet. I got into it for about a year, but it's just really not my thing. The girls like to tear it apart too much, so that took a lot of work. And I've tried knitting; it sucks. And I sew some. I'm not real good at it, but I have a group of friends that we get together one Saturday a month at a Mason Hall. We rent it for the day, and we have it for like 15 hours. Ends up costing like $8 to $10 a person, and we go and we scrapbook, or sometimes I cross stitch. I mean, it's just the long tables. It's a Mason's Hall, hard chairs and 8-foot tables. We'll scrapbook. There's a group of people that quilts and sew, and so that's been nice when I've been like finishing some things. That I have some people there that are, because I taught myself with sewing. They're more expert at it, so you have advanced stitchers there that can help you. So we scrapbook. Sometimes we sew. Just whatever you want to do, we just go. So it's fantastic, and it's a good way to get away from kids for a day. So anyway, next, favorite movie. I don't watch a lot of movies. I like TV. I mean, like series. I like to watch series and such. But as far as movies, I really don't know if I have a favorite movie. I'll kind of watch a little bit of everything. My favorite movie used to be, when I was little, it was Grease and Man on the Moon with Reese Witherspoon. I just saw Spy last weekend with Melissa McCarthy, and that was awesome. It was so funny, and not for children. Language and some of the scenes are horrid, but it was such a good movie. I really liked Melissa McCarthy, but that was a good movie. And Maleficent was really good last year. I don't go to the movies much, maybe twice a year, with a couple friends that when we just really need away from children. So, favorite TV show? I would say overall, Roseanne, Gilmore Girls, and ER are probably my top ones. Right now I'm watching Rain on Netflix. It's really good. House and Bones are my kind of wind down shows at night before I go to bed. I do like the competition food shows, like Spring Baking Competition was just on Food Network, just ended a couple weeks ago. Because those are the things I can watch if I'm stitching in the evening with the girls around. They have a big aversion to the medical dramas like House. Abby has walked in the room a couple times and there'll be someone having a seizure on the show and she flips out. She's got some anxiety. Um, so I can't watch House. I can't watch Grey's Anatomy around them. But like the cooking competition, like Master Chef and Hell's Kitchen, things like that. Because I can watch them when the girls are awake, and they just run by playing whenever, and But anyway, I do like watching those. Favorite book, Gone with the Wind, is probably my top. I actually have went to college. I have a major in history, and a minor in English literature. So I had to do a lot of Jane Austen. I do like Jane Austen, and I used to say it was my favorite, but in the last few years I've just kind of gone away from the classics. But Gone with the Wind is still one of my favorites. And Edward Rutherford, any of his books, like he writes historical. They're novels, but they're historical about. One's called Paris, and it's about Paris from over like 1,500 years, and it'll follow a few families throughout all those years. London is another one. I am currently reading Sarum. It's about the Sarum area in Salisbury, England, which is really neat because when I visited England, that's where I stayed, was in just south of Salisbury. So it's kind of cool to, I can kind of relate some things of what I remember seeing and took pictures of. Elizabeth, go play with Abby, please. Favorite music is going to be 80s, 90s alternative. And now the girls are all about some of the pop music, like Taylor Swift and Meghan Trainor, who are all about that bass. So whatever poppy catchy song that the girls are into from hearing on the radio. But I like alternative. Blue October is one of my favorite bands, and Ben Folds, and Regina Spektor. Okay, so then the next tag is Pam Reed's stitching style. Favorite I know I've answered some of these, I think, in the first couple videos I did, but I couldn't remember them all. So, favorite fabric is going to be even weave or linen, either 28 or 32 count. I stitch faster on Aida, but I don't typically like how it looks compared to linen and even weave. It's kind of, sounds pretty. But I prefer the hand-dyed fabrics. I still have a ton of silk weavers and hand-dyed by Stephanie. She's beautiful fabrics. And I have some Picture This Plus that I used to get at, there used to be cross-stitch conventions, and there was one in Des Moines, Iowa I went to for a few years, and I would splurge on hand-dyed fabrics. They're just, Picture This Plus has some pretty fabrics, but wish I had a place I could see them in person. Hoop or frame? Q-snap. I do like hoops. I used to use scroll frames a lot, but I just really don't anymore since I really like the Q-snaps. They're light and easy to hold. Do you use a stand or hold your frame? I hold it. I tried a frame once, maybe 10, 12 years ago. I didn't like that at all. It just, I sit in the recliner when I stitch. So, and I usually have everything, my threads and such, on my lap. And with the frame, you have to sit up. I mean, if I had like a wingback chair, it'd be different. But, no stand. Favorite time to stitch? My favorite time would be in the afternoon during the day when the sunlight is good in here in the living room. But I usually have the girls during the day, and they need 100 million things every 5 minutes. So it's very disruptive unless Elizabeth is napping, which she's decided in the last week she doesn't nap. So I'm losing that time. Otherwise, I stitch in the evenings. Once, when my husband's home and playing with the girls, sometimes he takes them outside or to the Y. And, so usually evenings is when I'm able to stitch. Printed paper or digital charts. I prefer them printed. I've tried some digital by using the Foxit app on my phone and the Kindle, and it's just, no. It takes too much time for me, because I highlight, and using a digital chart, it just takes too much time for me to try and highlight it with my finger and get it in the right spot, and is it too transparent, is it too opaque, it just, no. I have to print them. Are you a floss licker? Uh-huh. Not so much licking, I'm sticking it in my mouth. Sorry, I'm getting over sinus stuff. Do you hoard or buy supplies as needed? Both. I hoard my magazines, like Cross Stitch Crazy and World of Cross Stitching, that I'd gotten years ago. Especially if there's a chart in there that I really would like to stitch, then I just keep the entire magazine versus tearing it apart. I was hoarding fabrics for a while in threads, but I have stopped hoarding the fabrics because I've realized there's too many fabrics. I'm never going to use them all, and especially when it's, like the fabrics of the month. I used to do that a lot, and you end up with some funky colors sometimes, some orange or some. I have a couple that are lime green. I have no clue what I'm going to stitch on that, and it's just sitting there. So, no. Favorite floss. I use DMC as my regular cotton. I have a lot of gassed Weeks Dye Works and 6-strand sweets that I'd bought a decade ago, and they're out of business, so I'm slowly trying to incorporate them into my stitching or trading them out instead of a gassed or a Weeks Dye Works. Serial stitcher or one whip at a time. Serial starter. I used to be one whip at a time, but since finding all the Floss Tube people and the groups on Facebook, I think I have like 10 things going now, which is hard for me because I like to get things done, and you've got my daughter asking for the Star Wars. I have a thing I want to do for a friend for her birthday this summer. Thing for my mom I want to do for her birthday in July. I mean, granted, they're small things, but when you're only stitching in small amounts of time because of the kids, and these small things can take a week or two, and then you're thinking, oh, but I have this, I want to catch up on this, I want to work on that, and so I am going to try to just get my stuff done and then go back to just maybe having a couple things. More finished objects or unfinished? If I'm including them as whips, I'd say no, I've got more finished items, because for a good 10 years, I was cranking them out because I was, okay, so get this. In college, I worked at 2 different hotels. Ended up being the same chain because they bought, but anyway, I worked as a front desk clerk for Extended Stay America. They let me do my homework there. I worked the 3 to 11 p.m. shift, 40 hours a week. I was going to college in the mornings during the day, and then I'd go to work. I'd do my homework at work. But seriously, in 8 hours, there was maybe an hour and a half worth of work to actually do. I'd be the only person there in the evenings after 5 o'clock. You'd check in the few people you have. There was no internet there. The managers had set a TV up in the front office. So I would stitch. I'd do my homework. This was fantastic for a history major in English Lit because I could read, write my papers, study, and then I'd cross stitch. So I used to get paid to stitch because there was nothing to do there. So anyway, that I did, that went on for almost 5 years. So I got a lot of stitching done at the time. And then, we didn't have kids until 2009. So I then, when I was working at the bank, I'd go put in my 40 hours a week. I'd come home and I'd stitch because this was before iPads, before those tablets where the internet was at your fingers all the time. If I wanted to use the computer, I'd have to go to the computer room. So I don't get as much done now because I get distracted easy. So anyway, I have a lot of, my mom used to get a lot of my finished objects. Like, she loves Santas. And I would do Paula Vaughn's and give them to her. I don't have a whole lot here that I have done. And I need some good stuff to put up on the walls here. Do you watch TV while stitching? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Lots of Netflix, FlossTube, or Bubble Guppies, whatever the girls are watching. It's on. Do you stitch alone or with someone? I stitch alone. Only one of my friends kind of cross stitches a little bit. But she's someone I sew with and scrapbook with. But if I'm at like our monthly crop, which is what we call our day away, if I'm stitching there, granted there's 15 to 20 or so women there with me that I'm kind of talking to. But typically I just stitch alone. But we need some more hangouts, people. Come on now. I like that. It was fun. We do it again. Do you alter charts or stitches written? Typically I will stitch as written. There are times, like the Star Wars, that I'll change a little something. But I don't typically alter a whole lot. Do you bobbinate? Yes, I do. All the time. There's my Abby. Say hi. Say hi, FlossTube.
Hi, FlossTube.
Start in the middle or corner? I start in the middle. I started a Haid a good 2 years ago. I've got 200 stitches on it in the corner. It's not my thing. It's too little. It's too big. I'll never finish it. Do you have a whip rotation? No. I just do whatever I feel like doing at the moment. Do you use a timekeeper? No. Right, no. Abby wants to learn to cross stitch. Right? You help me sometimes? You're turning big stretches of the and that is all the questions I got the video. So I'm sorry if I'm missing anything pertinent that anybody needs to know. And so that's me. That's my Abby.
Yes.
Yes, my sweet Abby. So, Star Wars for you. Who you got on there?
Well, you're almost done with Leia.
I am almost done with Leia.
She's my favorite character in Star Wars.
Oh, she is now.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was R2-D2. Oh, she's Daddy's favorite. Oh, great. Hey, Ben. I didn't know about that. So, anyway, I talk to y'all later. Thanks for watching. Bye.